Beautiful people, beautiful people. Welcome to a very early morning stream. We're here at about 9 a.m., 9 a.m. my time. So we are here early with our third Back to the Basics stream. Now, for those of you who have been watching the channel the past few days, you know that I'm doing Back to the Basics streams. My plan is to do this one that you're about to watch and maybe one more. I think 4 Back to the Basics streams is a pretty good number. Today we're going to be talking about how healing happens. Like I always say, these streams are aimed at my newcomers. They will be put in their own playlist. That way, if we get new people here or on the Discord, you guys can just send them the Back to the Basics playlist, and yeah, they can get caught up on everything that we talk about here. So, but anyway, these are good streams for just about everybody. If you need a quick refresher, good streams. So today we're going to be talking about how healing happens, and what I mean by that is I don't want to call it cycle, but what's a good word for it? The ladder to recovery, right? Some things that you can expect, how the brain learns, is it, we'll talk about whether or not time frames is a good idea. Most of you already know the answer to that. We're just going to touch on a few things like that. We're just going to kind of go over the healing process when it comes to sensitized nerves and anxiety. And we'll see how that goes. Mint, first in chat. How you doing, Mint? Hope you're having a great day. Bro, hello. You saved me, mate, here in Scotland. It's 2 p.m. Well, welcome to the stream, dude. I'm glad you could catch it. Olivia, what is up? Ivan, hello. Hope you're having a good morning. Hi, Wonder Bro. Back so soon. Yes, back so soon. Another Back to the Basics stream. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Let's see here. Before we get started, I'm going to make sure that I've got my comments pulled up on my other screen, ready to go. Might as well go ahead and open up another tab because we're going to need some music here in a little bit. We're going to need some music in just a bit. What's up, Ghost? Good morning. Hope you're doing well, dude. Good morning, all you beautiful people. You're going to have a fantastic day today. I can feel it, man. Get on board with me. Get on board with me. Who is on board with me today to have a fantastic day, a productive day? We're going to stay out of the rabbit holes. We're going to stay out of the worry. We're going to say no thanks to any rabbit holes, and we're going to refocus right back on life. It's going to be a good day. I can feel it. You guys are gonna kick ass today, right? I can feel it in my bones. AP, what is up, dude? Welcome. All right. We'll give it another minute or two, let some people get in here, and then we're gonna go ahead and get started. So sit back and relax, because we're getting ready to get the ball rolling. We are getting ready to get the ball rolling. How recovery works. Back to the basics. So, yeah, like I said, there will be one more of these Back to the Basics streams. That's the goal, anyway. And then we'll just get back to what we normally do here on the channel. So, again, I would really appreciate it if you guys make it a point to, if we have any newcomers, whether that be here in the chat or whether that be on the Discord channel, wherever that might be. If we have any newcomers, or if you're for example, if you're on the Vacate Fear Facebook page and you see maybe there's someone new to the channel in the comments or something, I would really appreciate it if all my veterans here go over to the Back to the Basics playlist that I'm going to be putting together today, and just send any newcomers this playlist, this Back to the Basics playlist. That is the whole goal behind these streams. So yeah, I need you guys on board with me with that, so that anybody who is new here can get caught right up with us. Tim, hello. How you doing, Tim? Welcome to the stream, dude. Welcome. We're getting ready to get rolling in just a second, guys. Just a second. We'll get this stream going. Just a second. Okay, our bot did send out a notification. I don't know why that works sometimes and sometimes it don't. But I'm going to send out one quick notification myself here. and then we'll get going. Go, send that out. All right, beautiful people. Notification has been sent. Let's go ahead and get this party started. Who is with me? All right, guys. How healing from anxiety works. Back to the basics. Our third episode of Back to the Basics. How healing from anxiety works. Let's talk about it. Now, if you are new here, you're probably wondering, how does this whole recovery thing happen? How does it work? What's the time frame? How does the brain learn? What should I expect? So many questions, right? Let's start from the top. Let's go ahead and get this whole time frame thing out of the way, because I know for a fact, if you are new here and you are curious about recovery, that is probably one of the biggest questions you have. What can I expect as far as a time frame goes? You are not going to be, what's a good word for it? You are not going to be satisfied probably with the answer you're about to hear, but I'm going to give you the truth. We don't keep track of times here. Right? We don't keep time frames. We don't keep a calendar. We don't look at the calendar and say to ourselves, how much further do I have to go? And I'll tell you why time frames is not something that we do here. Time frames does not happen during recovery because everybody is different. Now, if we're talking about 100% recovery, I'm back to my old self. I don't feel sensitized. My nerves aren't popping off. Right, if we're talking about 100% recovery, this is something that happens gradually. This is a gradual process. It's not something that typically happens overnight. Now, I'm not saying that you can't make quick progress, because you can. But here's the thing. Let's just grab a couple names from chat. Let's say APC in chat really dedicates to no longer doing the worry. If you have any questions about that, watch the second episode of Back to the Basics. Let's say he really does really well with no longer adding the worry. He's just giving himself accepting reminders. He shuts the worry down, and he has productive days with positive behaviors, and he just really nails it, right? Like, he's just doing a great job. And let's say because of that, he's able to retrain these fear pathways in his brain and relax his nerves to the point where he feels like he's pretty much back to him old self, I don't know, within a month, right? Let's say that happens, okay? And then let's say we turn around and the wolf, right, in chat, he starts dedicating and he doesn't quite feel 100% in a month. Then what's going to happen? Right? What's going to happen? He's gonna freak out a little bit. The wolf's going to freak out. He's going to say, why am I not feeling like my old self so quickly when AP did? Right? Or vice versa, whatever. That is why we don't give time frames, because they simply don't exist. Everybody is different. Everybody has got a different amount of fear pathways in their brain that they need to retrain. It's not just something that is on a set schedule. Right? Now, you could make progress, maybe not 100%, but you could make progress in as little as a week. I mean, you could feel better tomorrow than you do today, right? It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell, and it's impossible to gauge. So that is why we don't get involved in time frames. Go ahead and erase the idea of time frames from your mind. Allow yourself to feel however it is that you feel, and understand that as long as you stay out of that worry to the best of your ability and you live your life, you will make progress. Whether that progress is tomorrow or next week or next month, it doesn't matter. I do not know. You do not know. Best to not sit around and worry about it, because ironically, right, one of the biggest pieces of advice here on the channel is to stay out of the worry. So if you sit around and worry about when recovery is going to happen, are you staying out of the worry? Of course you're not. So you're just going to stress your nerves as a result. And that is the ironic thing about sitting around and worrying about time frames, is that it just kind of puts you further back, right? So first and foremost, I wanted to get that out of the way, because that's probably one of the biggest questions that I get approached with from newcomers, is the time frames thing. And now that is all the reasons why that doesn't matter, and why it is crucial that you stay out of the worry about it. Drop your worry about time frames, okay? Moving on, how does recovery happen? So you dedicate to acceptance. You make it a point to say, okay, it's time to live a different way. I'm going to notice when I'm worrying. I'm going to shut that down, replace that with some accepting self-talk, and I am going to live. That is fair enough, right? And I'm going to try to have those positive, productive behaviors. So you make the decision to dedicate to acceptance. Now, your brain is seeing this. Okay, now there's a bit of a time lag here. This is important. There's a bit of a time lag. Just because you start to drop the coping methods, compulsions, you start to have positive behaviors, you start to do less worry. You don't have to be perfect, but you do start to do less worry. Just because you start doing this doesn't mean that the brain right away says, oh my gosh, you know, this anxiety is not needed. There is no real tiger, obviously. Let's reset these anxiety levels back to zero and just really let's hook our boy up here, right? And it doesn't say that overnight. Okay, it takes time for your brain to really connect the dots and realize that the danger does not exist. This takes time. This is not something that happens overnight. This is not something that happens immediately. Okay, going back to the whole time frame thing, really, this happens gradually. Right now, I wish that recovery was just something that, oh, you wake up one day, you have an accepting attitude, you're living life. Boom, the brain immediately learns. But that's just not how it works. That's just not the fact of the matter. The fact of the matter is it takes time for the brain to learn. It takes time for the brain to say, okay, I'm sure that this danger doesn't exist, and now I'm going to make the appropriate changes. That takes time. That takes time, right? So keep that in mind. It's not something that typically happens overnight. It's not something that happens immediately. There is a time lag. So let's say you have a really good day, and that doesn't mean that there's not some relief. Acceptance can bring almost immediately relief, immediate relief in some cases. But we're talking about that true 100% change. We're talking about those true concrete changes. That takes time. It takes time for the brain to say, okay, you're good. It takes time for the brain to say, okay, I'm learning, right? So the brain is always willing to learn, maybe not as quickly as you'd prefer it, but it is willing to learn, but it does take time. Right? So think of your brain as a child who's willing to learn a new skill, who's willing to learn a new lifestyle. It takes time for somebody to learn something new, right? And that's the same concept with the brain. So it's a gradual process. Do not beat yourself up if you're not 100% overnight. You can make quick progress, and you can come to a point where you're getting rather quick relief, but that doesn't mean you'll be 100% overnight, and that's to be expected and accepted. Right? You need to stay out of the worry. So recovery is a gradual process. It's not an instant process, and that's okay. And why is that? Again, because the brain learns, but it learns kind of slowly. It learns at its own pace, right? So how recovery works is a gradual process. The brain watches and it makes changes. It watches and it makes changes. These changes may not be immediate, but they will happen. All right, you guys. So first and foremost, again, let's go over that again. You want to get rid of time frames. Time frames no longer exist. We do not want them to exist. You need to get rid of them, right? If you've got your calendar out and you've got days circled, let's go ahead and get rid of those time frames, because that is just another form of worry that is keeping you stressed, right? Secondly, understand that recovery is a gradual process and it takes time for the brain to learn, and that is okay. Right? Just because your anxiety is high doesn't mean your brain is not learning. In fact, anxiety only learns, and people know what I'm about to say here on the channel, anxiety only learns when anxiety is turned on. Right? That is the third thing that I want to talk about here. So a lot of people who are new to recovery kind of assume, well, if I'm doing acceptance, if I'm using positive behaviors like this dude says, and if I'm cutting back on my worry and just, when I want to worry, I'm saying no thanks to that and just cutting the worry, then I should be feeling pretty well. I should be feeling pretty great. Not always the case. Just because you're using the advice doesn't mean that you're going to be feeling great. Anxiety learns while anxiety is turned on. Right? So just some things to kind of keep in mind. Just some things to kind of keep in mind. Drop the time frames. Understand that anxiety learns while anxiety is turned on. All right, you beautiful people. So just I think that's really the fundamental things that I want to say about recovery. I think that's probably the most common questions I get about recovery, and I think we did well on that. So if there's any questions from the chat about recovery and how that works, feel free to ask them now. I'm going to go ahead and toss on some music here. We might have an ad. We're probably going to have an ad that we've got to sit through. Yeah, we do have an ad. We'll let that play out, and then we'll get us some music going. But yeah, if you've got any question, guys, about recovery or anything of the sort, go ahead and feel free to ask it. We'll get us some music going. That is all I've got to say. Normally the streams go, well, no, this is about right, actually, on the time. I was going to say normally the streams go for a little bit longer, but no, that is it. That is it. That is the main questions. 1 year of progress, 1 year of regret. YouTube. Exactly, dude. Exactly. I couldn't have said it any better myself, AP. How you doing, Pootie? Welcome to the stream, dude. You're consciously aware of your breathing, but that doesn't mean you have to be consciously worried about your breathing. Ooh, that's a big one. You got to make that choice, man. You got to shut that worry down. So I agree that you are consciously aware of your breathing probably at all times, but you don't have that, that doesn't mean you have to be consciously worried about your breathing. That is a choice. That is a choice. What does recovery feel like? It feels like going back to your old self. It feels like going back to your old self. In fact, some people say it feels like going back to even an improved you, a 2.0 you, so to speak. A 2.0 you. All right, 1 second, guys. I'm going to grab my drink. Give me just a moment. All right. Much better. Much better. Let's see here. We got chat. When was your last panic attack, Wonder Bro? That was near the beginning of my channel. I believe there's actually a video on it. Let's see if I can find it, actually. I'll try to link it. You could probably search maybe my old YouTube channel name. Not that it was a different channel. It was just a different channel name. Wonder Bro or Vacate Fear. Probably type in panic attack and go way back, 3 or 4 years back, and you can find a video on that. I do remember doing that video, but that has been a while ago. It does take time and patience. Stay determined to get back to your life. This is the only way that works. Plus, it helps in life also. Yes, great life advice. Not just great anxiety advice, but great life advice. Because the fact of the matter is, acceptance is about no longer adding obsession and worry to the current situation and moving forward with positive behaviors. Now, that applies to life. That applies to life. If you are in a, a not so great, crappy life situation, is it going to be beneficial to worry and obsess about it? No. Even if it is a real life situation, it's not going to be beneficial to stress yourself out, worry, and obsess. That is not beneficial action, right? That is very unbeneficial, in fact, very stressful. So, great life advice, not just great anxiety advice. That is so true. So true, truth speaker. How ironic. So true, truth speaker. I've had a lot of people say that they're thankful, I lost a comment, thankful that they had this anxiety disorder because they now are stronger than ever before. So it kind of gets me excited too and gives motivation. I love it. I love it. And that's true. It's true. You come out the other side of this thing with a bunch of knowledge that's going to carry on with you. It's going to carry on with you for the rest of your life. It is a great thing. Scroll up a little bit, see if I missed any comments. I think we're good. Can't wait to feel that. Well, just make it a point to not sit around and worry or obsess about feeling this or feeling that. Just go with the flow of the way that you feel right now. Dr. Claire Weeks, ride the wave. Ride the wave. She calls it floating. It's all the same thing. It all comes back to the same thing. Allowing yourself to feel the way you feel instead of mentally fighting against it, a.k.a. worry. So it's all the same concept there. So I know you're all very excited to make progress, and that is great. Use that as motivation, but don't sit around and obsess too much about the way that you feel. If you notice that you're worried or obsessed over the way that you feel, simply try to put the brakes on that and give yourself some accepting reminders instead, and turn that focus back to living. So I know you're excited. Use it as motivation. Use it as your drive. That is amazing. That is awesome. But do not do too much worry about the way that you feel. Do not sit around and worry about the way that you feel. That's what floating is really all about. So I think that was an excellent point that we made earlier to you, Sean, about how, yes, you're consciously aware of breathing, but that does not mean you have to be consciously worried about the breathing, which is what's going to make the difference in the end. So you can be consciously aware of a lot of things, including symptoms, and of course you're aware of them, right? Of course you're aware of them. But to follow negative thoughts about them, that's what we used to call it here on the channel. To follow negative thoughts about it instead of trying to put the brakes on is a choice. Use your accepting reminders when you notice that you're following negative thoughts about it, aka worry, and put the brakes on it. You might have to rinse and repeat those reminders quite a bit, but show that dedication. Let that dedication show through and really put in that work. My head feels stuffy today. Probably allergies. I don't think we've missed any comments. I think we're good. I think we're caught up. How's everybody's day going so far? Hope you guys are doing well. Where'd my music go? I don't know. Oh, we got an ad. No wonder we have got an ad. Gotta love it. I can't turn on ad block, man. It doesn't feel right. I can see, yeah, the pink elephant thinking. OCD got me to stage it. Yep. You're absolutely right, Mint. You are self-aware enough to make that realization, which is huge. I don't think you realize just how huge that is. There's a lot of people out there who are not self-aware enough to make that realization, and they're blaming life still. And as long as you're blaming life for your quote-unquote sensitization, then you are blaming the wrong thing, and it's going to be very difficult to make progress when you are blaming the wrong thing. So you are self-aware enough to say, it is me who went down so many rabbit holes that I have done this to myself, and that is a great realization to make. That is a great realization to make. So instead of trying not to think about something, just remind yourself that you're not going to add the worry to it. Do you see the difference? So a thought comes along or a feeling comes along, we're not saying to ourselves, oh, don't think about it. No, we're saying, okay, it's there, it's present, but it is what it is, right? Or we're saying, okay, it's there, it's present, but that's okay, that's fine, right? Or you start to do the worry, right? That thought or feeling is there, and you start to add worry. You remind yourself, no, I'm not going to add worry to that. It is there, and that's okay if it's there, but I'm not going to add worry to it. You see, you're not trying to not think about it. You're just not adding the worry. There's a difference. There is a difference. There's a big difference. So, you're not putting yourself in a position where you're like, oh, don't think about it. No, that's not what we're doing. The thought can be there. It can swim around in your head if it wants to. The feelings can be there. You're just not adding the worry to it. So the moment you notice yourself starting to add the worry to it, you're pulling back and you're saying, hey, it is what it is. It's not worth it. That's a good reminder. It's not worth adding the worry to this. That's what you're doing. Sometimes you got to remind yourself of that a lot, right? A lot. And that's where a lot of people fall short. They don't want to do it a lot because it takes a lot of effort to do that. But you must get rid of the worry habit. You must work on it. So the symptoms will only feel as unbearable or impossible as your worry is, right? Right? The symptoms will only be as unbearable and as quote-unquote impossible as your worry is. So of course the symptoms are going to feel unbearable or impossible. If you're up in your head adding that worry, how could they not? How could they not? Right? But you can take somebody else with the same symptoms who's not adding the worry, who's keeping a check on that, who's shutting that down and are not allowing themselves to go that route, and it won't feel as unbearable or impossible to them. Right? So it's going to be as quote-unquote impossible or as unbearable as your worry is. That's what that's what it's going to come down to. That's what it's going to come down to, because you can take two people with the same symptoms, and one of them is like, oh my God, this is impossible and unbearable because they're adding so much worry, and the other one is like, okay, I don't like this necessarily, but right, I'm shutting the worry down. I'm not going to add the worry. You got to be on top of that. You got to be on top of that. What are you telling yourself here? And we're not asking you to fight against anything, but what we are asking you to do is to not allow yourself to get carried away with the worry. And that's going to come back to giving yourself those reminders, calling yourself out on that worry and shutting that down every chance you get the opportunity to. And sometimes you got to rinse and repeat that, 3 million times a day. The worry habit is so strong, you got to continuously shut it down at first. You got to continuously shut the worry down. It's a continuous thing. It's not like a one and done. And we talked about this yesterday. It's not a one and done. It's more of a continuous practice. It's not a one and done. It's more of a continuous practice. Over and over and over again, because guess what? That habit is strong. That habit is strong, strong, strong. It all comes down to what you're telling yourself, man. If you're telling yourself, oh God, don't think that, then yeah, you're pushing it away. But if you're telling yourself, okay, it's there, but not going to add to it, then that's more of an accepting reminder, right? So if any of your internal dialogue is more along the lines of, oh God, don't think that, then yes, you're just going to be trying to do the impossible. But if your internal dialogue is more along the lines of, okay, thought, not following, right? Or, okay, thought, that's fine, stay if you will. And then you're going back to living. It might feel like you're pushing something away, but you're not. You're only pushing it away if your internal dialogue is, oh God, don't think that. Right? So it all comes down to whatever your internal dialogue is. All comes down to whatever your internal dialogue is. And that's why I say use accepting reminders. That's why I put that word on there. Of course, you don't want to work yourself up by telling yourself, oh God, don't think that. That is a bad idea. That is a bad idea. But if you give yourself a more accepting reminder, like, okay, that's fine. Right? Be there if you will. And you're just shutting the worry down, shutting the worry down, shutting the worry down. Then that's great. That is great. Sanchez, what is up, dude? Welcome. Welcome.
Donation.
Sanchez, my boy Sanchez with the $25 tip. I love you so much. Thank you, dude. I appreciate you. First tip of the day. Good morning, Sanchez. Hope you're doing fantastic. Give my boy a round of applause. Thank you, dude. $25, man. I appreciate you. But I didn't care, but then it caught me off guard, and I care at another time. I don't know why. Because you only care when your anxiety's high, right? You only care about the reaction. You don't necessarily care about the thought. You care about the fact that it gave you so much anxiety. So before, when the thought didn't give you so much anxiety, you didn't care. So that shows us that the root problem is not the thought, but rather the fact that you care about the way that you feel. Oof, big one. So what do you do about that? You accept that, hey, thought didn't cause a false alarm before, but it's causing a false alarm now, and that's just the nature of anxiety, and that's okay. I'm going to show my brain the truth. I'm not going to add the worry to this. I'm going to let it happen, right? If I do start to add the worry, I'm going to put the brakes on that. I'm going to hold myself responsible for that. I'm going to come back, cut out that worry, and keep living. So, again, you only care about the thought now because it produced a false alarm. So you don't really care about the thought, do you? You care about the false alarm. That's why you care. So don't add the worry to the false alarm and keep on living. Don't add the worry to the false alarm and keep on living. Does that make sense? Miss Kate in the chat. Hey, as long as your internal dialogue is of acceptance, you're good, Mint. So now, the moment your internal dialogue, which is basically just the conversation that you have with yourself, the moment your internal dialogue starts to turn into worry, you got to put the brakes on. But if your internal dialogue is not worry, you're good, right? So does that make it a little bit more simple for you? The moment your internal dialogue over your feelings and thoughts turn into worry, it's time to put the brakes on. It's time to whip out the accepting reminders, right? The moment your internal dialogue turns to worry, it's time to put in the work. But as long as your internal dialogue is not turned on to worry, you're good. You're good. Just keep living. Keep living. Keep living. So, and that applies to all of you. That's good advice for every single person in here, not just one or two people. The moment your internal dialogue turns to worry, it's time to put the brakes on. It's time to put in the work. It's time to whip out those accepting reminders and put the brakes on that crap, right? Does that make it more simplified? Does that make it more direct? The moment your internal dialogue turns to worry, it's time to put in the work. How you been, Wonder Bro? I've been good. Pooty, how you been, dude? Hope you're having a fantastic morning. I love you, man. I love you. Thank you again, Sanchez, for the tip, dude. I really appreciate you. You have been a longtime supporter of the channel, and I appreciate every single little bit of it. It's you have plenty of intrusive thoughts do exist, but if you notice that your internal dialogue is always one of worry, then we've definitely got some work to do. That's where whipping out those accepting reminders is going to come in handy. And I understand that that's going to feel like a fight. And like we said yesterday, that is the only time that I allow the word fight to be used here on the channel. You are kind of sort of fighting your worry habit off, and that's okay. that is okay. That is the only time I give a pass on using that word here on the channel. That is the only time I give a pass for using that word here on the channel. Otherwise, that word is taboo. We don't use that word, but it is going to feel like you're kind of fighting off your own worry. Now, I don't mean to get up there and fight with the thoughts. I mean to just simply shut down the worries. So, again, to make it simple so that you don't confuse yourself, the moment your internal dialogue is tuned into worry, it's time to give yourself some accepting reminders and try to put the brakes on that. Time to put the brakes on that. And if you say that, well, I worry, most of the time, well, then we've got some work to do, and that is okay. We've got some work to do, and that is okay. It might take a lot of effort, but we do have to put the brakes on that worry by whipping out those accepting reminders, replacing that worry with that, and then letting everything flow. While you continue to live your life. Let's go in. I'm like, what happened? I'm glad you're making so much progress, Pooty. Keep it up, dude. Or get over it as soon as possible. When I first started, I made plenty of mistakes, and that was one of the mistakes I made, right? And if you think about it, you're going to get sick of hearing this word, but if you think about it, that's just another form of worry. You're sitting in your head thinking, oh God, I want to rush through this. I want to get it over with. Just another form of worry. Just another form of worry, right? You see how all these little sneaky things are just another form of your worry habit. Needs to be spotted, and needs to, have the brakes put on. It all just, it all comes back to that. Ooh, this is my favorite song in the whole playlist right here. Favorite song in the whole playlist right here. Yep, that is true, Sean. And that comes in the form of what? In the form of what? You already know. You already know what I'm about to say. You already know. You already know. Hey, anybody here is capable, man. It's just that worry habit's very strong. That worry habit's very strong. If you notice that you're actively doing it, you got to try to put the brakes on, right? And that doesn't mean you're going to be perfect. You're not going to be perfect. I'm here to tell you, you're not going to be perfect, but you can still try to put those brakes on that worry habit regardless. Hey, have a good day, Pootie. Thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate it. Have a good one. Why do you guys think that some people can handle real life stressors better than others? What do you think that's going to come back to? Actually, I want you guys to answer that. Let's have a little pop quiz here. A little pop-up quiz here. Why do you think some people are able to handle real life stressors better than others? What do you think it's going to come back to? I'll give you a hint. It's going to come back to one word. It's going to come back to one word why some people are better able to handle real life stressors than others. It's going to come back to one word. It's going to come back to one little word. Anybody got the answer? Anybody got the answer? Acceptance is a good answer. It is a good answer. It's not the word I'm looking for though. What is the one word? Why are some people able to handle real life stressors better than others? Kind of a trick question with the way that I've worded it there. I'll give you the answer. Worry. Some people are able to approach real life situations and stressors with a more calm head, and they're not doing so much worry, so they're much more productive. Worry is extremely unproductive and puts you in a very stressed out state, therefore making you make worse decisions. Oof. Some people think it's beneficial. It's not. It actually puts you in a more stressed out state, therefore making your productive decision making even worse. Oof. So everything you thought you knew about worry is not true. So the people who can handle real life stressors better than others, they're coming at it with a more calm head. They're not doing as much worry. Their worry habit's not as strong. They're more clear headed, right? They're able to tackle it with more productive thinking. So everything you thought you knew about worry just turns out to be untrue. What do you know? What do you know? The worry is actually not productive. In fact, it's the complete opposite. It makes you less productive. It makes you less able to make good decisions. It makes you more rash when you do the worry. So, people who can handle stressful life situations are coming at it with a more clear head because they don't have such a strong worry habit. You see? And of course, like you said, Sanchez, if you have a strong enough worry habit, you'll end up sensitized, right? But yes, everything that you thought you knew about worry is not true. Not true. Just not true. When you've been doing it for 50 years. Here's the thing about habits. Whether you've been doing it 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, 90 years, 100 years, right? Hopefully you don't wait that long. Jeez. But whenever you're ready, you can change a habit. Whenever you're ready, right? So just jump on board, man. You got it. You just gotta be self-aware enough to realize when you're doing it, right? Just be self-aware enough to realize when you're doing it, and be dedicated enough to shut it down with some accepting reminders. And you might have to rinse and repeat that quite a bit, but if you've got the dedication, you can do it. Gratitude's a good one. Gratitude is something everybody should practice, sensitized or not. Gratitude, the great multiplier. Gratitude, the great multiplier. Don't let your, don't let your mind give you any excuses as to why you quote unquote can't do this, man. Don't buy that shit. The mind offers you suggestions all day long. You don't have to take them. The mind, holds out all these excuses as to why you can't do this or why you can't do that. It's up to you if you want to reach into that palm of that hand and take that. It's up to you if you want to buy it, right? That's up to you. I mean, the mind can say all sorts of dumb stuff. It's up to you if you wanna take it or not. If you want to pick that up and say okay and buy it. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to buy everything that your mind, is trying to sell to you. You don't. You don't. You might think you do, but no, you got a choice. You got a choice. You're self-aware enough to notice when you're buying some crap and shut the worry down. Boom, 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 boom. I'm going to drop a link for you guys real quick. We've got a small break in the chat. Let's drop a link. So that motivates me when you're down. Your brother's story is awesome, and how he did that was he just continued living, and you can't see the work that he put in mentally, obviously, unless he told you, but he continued living, and I'm sure that he put in some mental work too. He had to work on that worry. Had to work on that work on that worry. I'm sure, you can't see the mental work that people are putting in, but it's there. I've been changing the worry habit, rinse and repeat a lot. I've definitely been doing better. And if you keep doing that, you are going to go further than you ever thought possible. I know that. I believe that. Get excited because your day's coming, right? Get excited because you're making more progress than you're probably even aware of right now. You're probably making more progress than even you are aware of right now. So just keep that going. Keep that going. And congrats on that, by the way. Congrats on that, by the way. When are you going to go to school to become a therapist? The mental health community needs people like you. I appreciate that. I'm not sure how many people, unfortunately, would sign up with my face tattoos to come to my office, but they so I don't know about that, but I'll keep it in mind. How many of you have already had breakfast today, and what did you have for breakfast? I need ideas. I need ideas. Absolutely, Mint. You got to try to see it. You got to try to see it. You got to try to put the brakes on that worry. Just like somebody else in chat said, where's that comment at? I forget who said it. Changing the worry habit, rinse and repeat a lot. That rinse and repeat a lot's a big part of the process there. Because you're going to be very tempted to keep logging back into the worry. It's just what you've done for so long, right? And that's why we call it a habit. Because that's what it is at the end of the day. It's a habit. All that energy's got to go somewhere, Mint. All that energy's got to go somewhere. It's got to come out. So you've probably been doing a ton of worry and obsession, right, for so long now And eventually that's going to peak for you, and it seems it's done just that. It's got to come out. It's got to come out. Doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It's just, it's got to go somewhere. You've stored up all that anxiety from all your obsession and worry, and it's got to go somewhere. I can see some real benefits. I see it as my everyday. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You got to rinse and repeat, man. Shutting down that worry is a great thing. What other option do you have besides shutting down the worry? Allowing it to continue and just being miserable? You know, what other option do you have? So don't beat yourself up for having to rinse and repeat. The thought comes in, the feeling comes in. If you notice that you start to worry, just give yourself an accepting reminder. Boom. Bada bing. Bada bing, bada boom. Bada bing, bada boom. Takes work, man. Takes work. Dwayne, what's up, dude? Yeah, that worry's just so automatic for you, man. It's just so automatic. Got to keep working on it. Just so automatic because it's such a strong habit. That's why sometimes I say it can feel like it's automatic because, I mean, it's just such a strong habit. You can stop the worry. The thought can come, but you don't have to drag it on. So that would be the same as saying, well, somebody sits down beside me and says something, and then I just can't help myself but to talk back. That's not true. You can. You can help yourself. You'd be surprised, Mint. You'd be surprised. Just always ask yourself what you're saying to yourself mentally. Put the brakes on it. 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 And then if you tell yourself something like, oh, but I'm fighting it. Nope, put the brakes on it. That's just more worry. Just more worry. And then you say to yourself, oh, but I'm pushing away. More worry. Just say, yep. That sounds like a ton of progress. Congrats. See, that's the thing. At any given point, you can notice when you're up in your head with any sort of BS and put the brakes on it. Doesn't matter what it is. How? How do you put the brakes on it? By just repeating your accepting reminders instead. So when you notice you're doing that, be gentle with yourself. Okay, I accept that I was doing that. I accept that, whatever. Right? But put the brakes on it. And then mint, if you're in your head, oh, well, that feels like at least half of that's got to be intrusive. Put the brakes on it. We don't need to know. You're worrying about the worry now. You're worrying about the intrusive, what's an intrusive thought, what's not. You're worried about worry. You're worrying because you're worried because you're worried. You're worry. Oh, you're going to be fearful. That's just going to be automatic. There's going to be anxiety involved, right? When the nerves are in that state. But all you got to do is call yourself out on it. You just got to be like, oh, I'm worried about worry. I'm worrying about what's an intrusive thought. I'm worried about worry. Put the brakes on it. Just be like, you know what? That's not worth it. That was a big reminder that I used quite often when I'd catch myself in my head doing all the worry. Even if I was in my head worried about worry, I would say, what are you doing? This is not worth it, trying to figure all this out. It's not worth it. And then 10 seconds later, maybe I'm in my head again. Oh, well, maybe that's just an intrusive thought. Dude, it's not worth it. It's not worth it, right? So that was a good reminder that I used. It's not worth it. And then maybe 10 seconds later, you're in your head again. Oh, well, how do I not react fearfully? It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth that. Worrying about that. It's not worth it. You just got to keep calling yourself out on it over and over again. It's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. You know, it is what it is. It all is what it is. Not much you can do about it, so it's not worth it. Then 10 seconds later, you're in your head again. Oh, what will I do if it's not worth it? Interrupt yourself. Interrupt your own worry. Interrupt your own worry. There you go. There's a good way to put it. Interrupt your own worry. Never worth it, man. It's never worth it. I mean, if it was worth it, you would have already made some grand conclusion by now, as long as you've been doing it. Then you're in your head another 10 seconds later. Oh, am I doing this right? It's not worth it. It's not worth trying to figure that. It's not worth it. You see how ironic all this is? You worry. You worry, and then you're trying to figure. You're not going to come to any conclusions because you already would have in the years you've been doing this. You already would have in all the years you've been doing this. 10 seconds later, well, was that an intrusive thought? It's not worth it. Stop yourself mid-sentence. Interrupt your own worry mid-sentence and keep doing it, because it's not worth going down those rabbit holes. It's not. You're not going to figure anything new out. I'm here to tell you. You're not going to figure anything new out. You're not going to come to any grand conclusions that you haven't already. It's not worth it. So that was a good reminder that I used myself, and it's actually such a good reminder that I might just do a whole stream on it at some point. I don't know. But just, interrupting your worry mid-sentence and reminding yourself this is not worth it, right? It just kind of makes you put both feet on the ground and say, what am I doing? What the hell am I going to figure out? There's nothing to figure out. There is nothing to figure out. You're just keeping yourself so stressed trying to figure all this out. It's not worth it. That's the accepting attitude, is reminding yourself, look, it's just not worth the obsession. And I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Just keep living my day. Hey, Tony, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Listen to this guy, new people. He will get you to recovery. Appreciate that, Tony. I hope you're still doing well, dude. Trying to help Mint out in the chat right now, Tony. Help me out a little bit, Tony. Help me out. Now that you've made it to what we call recovery, which basically just means your nerves feel much better, help me out here, Tony. I'm trying to explain to Mint. She's in the stage where she's trying to figure it all out, right? Basically, trying to figure it all out, which is a stage that most people find themselves in, right? Did you figure it all out, Tony, or did you eventually just come to the conclusion, hey, it's not worth trying to figure it all out? And every time you started to worry, did you just remind yourself, it's not worth it, let it go, and go back to living? Help me out here, Tony. I'm fighting for my life here, Tony. Help me out. You're going to get there, Mint. Don't you worry about it. Because it's not worth it. It's not worth worrying about it. You feel such an extreme way that, oh, you think the worry is worth it. You think you got to do it because you just feel so intense that maybe you're missing something. You need to do the worry. Nah, it's not worth it. That's what's keeping it alive. That's what's put you in the position to begin with. Oof, that's a big one. I think we got an ad coming up here on our music. Yes. Oh, I know. I know, Mint, because I've been there. You feel so intense that, man, you just gotta figure it out. You just gotta worry. You just gotta obsess. Something's wrong. I feel so intense. I gotta worry about it. If I don't worry about it, I won't figure it out. And, well, the ironic thing is that's what's put you in this position to begin with. So you gotta remind yourself, you gotta stop your worry mid-freaking sentence and remind yourself it's not worth it. Was thinking too many keys over and over with anxiety and symptoms for weeks until I hear the stream. Fuck it. You just got to drop the worry. It's just not worth it. The two main keys are what they are, but at the end of the day, it just comes down to fuck it, man. It's not worth it. Anytime you start to worry, stop, interrupt yourself. Literally interrupt yourself. Even if you have to do it a lot, interrupt yourself and remind yourself, look, this worry's not worth it. I'm not going to gain any. There's nothing to gain. There's only stress and anxiety to gain. I'm not going to figure anything new out. It's just not worth it. I'm just going to allow myself to feel the way I feel, and if a random thought pops up, whatever, it's not worth going the worry route. Stop yourself mid-sentence. It's not worth it. Not worth it. So, and that applies to every form of worry. If you're worried about a heart attack, you can remind yourself, look, this ain't worth it. If you're worried about how do I use the advice, that's still worry. Cut it off mid-sentence and remind yourself it's not worth it. Like, this applies to every form of worry. It doesn't matter what your specific form of worry is. Like, that's irrelevant here. That is irrelevant. Absolutely, my boy. Absolutely, Sanchez. Absolutely. Wolf, what's up, Arnold? You're not the only one, Christine. A lot of people's been there, done that. Just like Tony says, just get back to living. And what he's basically trying to say there is drop the worry, drop the obsession, just get back to living. Just go with the flow. Dr. Claire Weeks called it floating. It's all the same concept. What's up, Moon? Miss Moon, hello. You really got to stop yourself mid-sentence and remind yourself that the worry's not worth it. Like I said, that's such an important reminder, one that I really enjoyed myself. Puts things into perspective for you. So probably a future stream on that reminder right there. It's not worth it. A future stream on that little reminder alone. Classic, Tony, classic. We've had a lot of rain here recently. I love it. It's my favorite kind of weather. I like that, Wolf. That's a pretty good perspective. A ton of different opinions, yeah. Best to keep it nice and simple. Nice and simple is the way to go. Hey, you're not making an attempt to shut that down, Mint. You say to yourself, I shouldn't be triggered over this. This is bad. You gotta stop that mid-sentence, right? So you gotta catch that, stop that mid-sentence. It's okay that you didn't catch it, whatever, but try to start catching that mid-sentence and just be like, you know what, it's not worth worrying over this. It's not worth it. I'm not going to gain anything. I'm just going to continue to go further down. So, you know, catch that stuff, you know, stop yourself mid-sentence next time. See if you can get into a habit of doing that. You might not be perfect at it right away, but that's okay. That's okay. Something about rain. Yes, it's very cozy. My favorite kind of weather. A warm, rainy day. My favorite kind of weather. Doesn't get much better than that. Doesn't get much better than that. Everybody agrees on the rain. Well, most people agree on the rain. How's your stream going? It's going good, dude. We're just hanging out with chat. We're just hanging out with chat. Just chilling. Chilling. How are you doing, Ghost? How are you doing? How's Nova? She is passed out at the moment. Catching some Z's. Catching some Z's. Yeah, that worry can seem automatic like that mint. Just try to get into a habit of catching it when you can. Like I always say, you don't have to be perfect, but try to get into the habit at least, you know, try to make that effort. And if you can't catch it every time, that's fine. She still has it, Sanchez. She still has her pineapple, dude. She loves it. Another effort stream. Is that really what got the gears turning for you? I gotta love the effort streams, dude. Chilling and killing. Was playing some RE7, getting scared. It's good. Thanks for asking. It's a good game, man. I've enjoyed all of the new RE games. Miami Vice, you know it, dude. We're chilling today. We're chilling today. How long is this series? We're gonna do one more. I believe that is the goal right now. We're gonna do one more back to the basics stream. I feel like with one more we can sum everything up. So probably 4 streams total. 4 streams total. I believe we can get out everything that we need to say that you know concerns the basics. I think that's about the right number there. I'm glad you're enjoying them though, Randy. I just figured it'd be a good little idea with the amount of new people that we've got coming in. I'm seeing more and more new faces here recently, so figured we'd go back to the basics. when we starting, and we're about at the end, man. We're about at the end. You can always watch it back though. It'll be uploaded, assuming YouTube doesn't do something stupid with the upload. That's happened before, but you can always watch it back. Yeah, we just let's see, we just passed the hour mark not long ago. Sanchez, typical. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why the YouTube notification system's not that great. You're probably just now getting the notification that I'm even live, which is stupid, but you know, what can you do about it? Used to, back in the day, you could just hit the subscribe button and that was enough. Now you gotta hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, so why that is the way that that is, I'm not sure. I think it's a little ridiculous, but yeah, I don't know why that gives you so much trouble, Wolf. Something. Oh, Arnold is singing today. Let's see. All right. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Right? Hold the phone. Darcy. The legendary, the one, the only Darcy has entered the chat and has decided that we will continue the tip streak because Darcy has come in and said, you know what, let's see what the note says here. Keep throwing out truth, WB, keep throwing out truth. Darcy with the $100 tip coming in Darcy, I love you. I love you so much, Darcy. Why are you so nice to me? I don't know. Darcy is a legend, an absolute legend. Let's see. I need to update this. Why can't I grab my menu? Where's it at? Darcy, thank you so much. Show some love in the chat. Honestly, probably my top #1 supporter of all time, Darcy, with the $100 tip. Thank you so much, Darcy. We're moving on to a 127-day streak. That is absolutely insane. Out of nowhere, the one, the only Darcy with the $100 tip. You are amazing. I love you so much. I want to see a huge, amazing, awesome, big wall of emojis in the chat, please. Darcy, you're so kind. I don't even know what to say. You're always blowing my mind. And while I've got you here, because I'm assuming that you're watching right now. I know you don't ever make any comments, but since I got you here, I just want to say thank you so much again for all the gifts, the microphone, the new lighting system. That's really improved the quality of my streams like tenfold. So thank you so much for that, Darcy. And thank you so much for all of the support that you've shown the channel through tips alone. I mean, it's been massive. Just thank you so much. Thank you so much, Darcy. You are truly a legend in this community. Thank you again so much. I appreciate you. I don't ever really get the opportunity to explain how grateful I am because I never know if you're here or not, but I'm assuming you are today. So thank you so much, Darcy. You are a legend. You are a mystery, and we love you so much. We love you so much. Thank you for showing all the love to Darcy in the chat. I appreciate it. And thank you, Sanchez, another huge supporter here on the channel. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. So much. I love seeing all the emojis. Question: if you're an admin in the chat, do you have to approve those? Do the wall of emojis get chalked up as spam? Do you have to approve those? I've always wondered. I've always kind of wondered. Sometimes, okay. Sometimes, gotcha. Yeah, because I know they hold comments for spam or whatever, so I've always been sort of curious. Had to approve D-Block and Arnold right now. Gotcha. Yeah, so they do chalk them up as...
donation.
Oh my god. Woo! Okay, jump scare. Jump scare. A little bit of a jump scare there. $6 tip coming in. Did not expect that. Thank you so much, dude. Woo, okay, that gets the heart rate up a little bit. Thank you so much for the $6 tip, man. I appreciate you. You guys are awesome. Still dreading flying. I'm not a fan of flying. I'm not a fan of heights myself, but I would give you the same advice that I would give anybody with any sort of specific fears, that the advice that you learn here on the channel applies to those fears if you would wish to tackle them. Of course, the only way over a specific fear, even if it's something as specific as flying, would be to go for it. Right, and of course to try to apply acceptance while you do that, cut back on the negative obsession, worry, fear talk, and experience it, and allow your brain to experience it so that you can see there is no need for the false alarms. So the advice would remain the same. I myself am not so much a fan of flying, but yeah, the advice for anxiety also applies to life in general. Great idea, the wolf. You can send 500 to me to see if it would. There you go. That is a great idea, Mint. Mint, but will you share pics of the Bahamas then? Oh man, if only 500 bucks would get you to the Bahamas. You're a couple grand short, but if only. Hey, thank you so much again, dude, for the $6 tip. I appreciate you. No coaching at the time. Did I miss a comment? Oh, sign up for coaching. Okay. Are you on the Discord, Jimmy? If so, toss me a DM. We can talk about it. There's our old backdrop. Didn't mean to grab that. Alright, beautiful people. Where's our song? Let's get our song pulled up. Thank you guys so much for watching another Back to the Basics stream. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, we're going to try to do one more of these and see how that goes. I believe we can sum everything up that we want to talk about as far as the basics are concerned in one more stream. So you might see one more of these. We'll see what happens. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching today's stream. I love you so much. Thank you for all of the love and support. I wouldn't be here without you. This channel would just simply not exist. So thank you guys so much for everything. I love you. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you very, very soon. Until next time, as always, stay awesome.
Whatever you want, I'll be whatever you want. Just tell me you love me or not, whatever it costs. I know I'm talking a lot, there's something I gotta get off. Don't wanna be this no more, I don't wanna drink no more. Always gotta do the most, thinking that I'm insecure. Really should've listened more, but I don't, of course. I'm an asshole, I'm a good guy, I'm your best friend, I'm the worst type. Tell you everything that you heard right, just so I can fuck on the first night. Feel like I'm losing hope, running from coast to coast. I don't know where to go, this all I've ever known. I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. No, did it die? Wait, did it die? Wait, did it die? I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. Won't die. Did it die? Wait, did it die? Wait, did it die? My aunt think I'm perfect, I know I'm not. My mama be worried, I told her stop. They know I did drugs and think that I'm off. Little do they know I never could stop. My manager bitch hate when I'm pulling up late. Back on my bullshit, she think it's a phase. I got relations I gotta maintain. I'm two different people, my side and my main. Yeah, I'm sober, I'm an addict, I'm a low life, I got habits, but I refuse to be average. Really so tired of acting, don't know what I miss no more. Too bad you don't hit me more. I'm bad when I get too bored, careful what you wishing for. I'm a